Welcome to another Founder Wisdom Pod. I have no electricity today, so you may notice a different background. We're here with Kai Cabero. You can find him out at kaicabero.co.uk. He made 220K siphoning competitor audiences, and they have no idea. Found out about Kai because he cold emailed me, and then I looked him up, saw that he was a WoW player. I was the best WoW player in my server about 15 years ago. So I was like, yeah,
Yeah, you
it's my
said.
kind of dude. Let's have it. Let's have him on the podcast. So Kai, welcome. Tell us a
Yeah,
bit
thank
more
you.
about yourself and what you're up to.
Yeah, what's up? I'm Kai. If you don't know me already, I've been doing this 4 years. I started my journey in recruitment, and I found cold email, and I've been annoying people ever since. So that's pretty much what I've been up to. I've worked with, this year alone, I've worked with over 86 consultants, coaches, creators, agency owners, and I've helped some of them add hundreds of thousands of dollars to their bottom line and their revenue. Most notably with the model called the siphon model. So as Charles said, this year alone, I made over $250,000 siphoning competitors' audiences. So instead of having your own audience or having a large audience, 100,000 followers, like Hormozy level stuff, I can get away with this with just 3K followers, less than that even, and just stand on the shoulders of giants. And I don't have to spend on all day online. I could just work 3-4 days a week and just pitch people stuff, just sell to the people that nobody else is selling to, and help those guys out. So yeah, that's what I do. And then I spend the rest of my time playing video games and just hanging out with my family.
Nice. And you said like annoy people. Do you really believe that you annoy them? How do you actually deal
They
with
like to
that?
think I do until the copy just gets them on calls and they buy something.
Yeah, that's the dichotomy right in your space. It's that people, they receive these emails and they're like, yeah, that doesn't work, but it's because it's so hard to get them to work with deliverability and all of that. But once
Yeah.
they actually buy it and they're like, yo, I get 10 of these emails per day and I'm skeptic. Yeah, but you just replied to my email right there. It's a tough
Well,
sell, but
another
it's
one is
also
like,
like an easy one.
yeah, for sure. I mean, another one is like, how do I know this is going to work for me? It's like, well, you got on the call with me, right? This is how I know. Like, I've done this. I got Samsung, Ubisoft, Fox Network, all of these giants on a call, and I'm literally sometimes here just sitting here in my shorts and sending emails.
Yeah, and yeah, I think people don't even realize that, right? Like, this is it sometimes frustrating for you to be like, yeah, this works because you're on this call. I think like most humans are not like super conscious of how they even got there. Like, do you often ponder on these things?
Yeah, I get asked a lot, like, where did you find my details? And I'm like, the internet. Like, if you sign up to a platform online, like LinkedIn, for example, you can get a tool or an API that will tell you where that email is coming, what email was used to sign up, and you're on all the, like, you're on Apollo. Like, you're not that off grid. Some people think they're like super sleuth and off grid and like incognito. You're not, dude.
Yeah, and the thing here is like, do you really think I'm gonna take the time to tell you like where I got your info? And most of these people, they ask that rhetorically. It's like, hey, gotcha, or GDPR gotcha. By the way, what's your thought about GDPR?
Oh, I probably didn't leave a unsubscribe link in you. I kind of like, probably forced you to get on the call. But most of the time, if you put unsubscribe, most of the time people are pretty chill, because at the end of the day, I invest heavily into the infrastructure. If it doesn't make sense for me to send spam shit to people, if I'm just going to destroy my infrastructure, right? I'm spending thousands and thousands of dollars on this, and I want to make sure that my copy is resonating. I've at least done my research, and I know who I'm talking to and what kind of problems these guys may have on a day-to-day basis. So,
And the idea of siphoning audiences, so you probably take their own audience. That's like a low-hanging fruit most of the times. They already have a list. I often use that. The idea of siphoning audiences is checking out their competitors and taking out their LinkedIn page followers. So what specific social media and
yeah,
what tool do
sure.
you use to scrape all of that?
Yeah, so funnily enough, I actually have the best results through X. I've only got like 1,500 followers on X and 1,500 followers on YouTube, or subscribers on YouTube. So in total, I have 3K. But the point I'm trying to make is like, well, nobody, like, you can just have a lookalike. You've probably heard the term lookalike audience, right? So
Yeah.
I don't just create lookalike audiences. I create lookalike offers, right? So I create the lookalike offer. I create the lookalike audience. I then siphon all the people, get them into my funnel, into their ecosystem. I maybe look for keywords, maybe see these guys are struggling with something online, or maybe they've just signed their, they've first got to 20K, 30K, 100K a month. Maybe they need a little bit more help. And then what I do is if they're following like a big player, I might create a lookalike offer because I've got, hundreds and hundreds of case studies that I've helped all these different types of people and probably help the creator or person they follow anyway. I could just say, hey, I helped this person do this. They're now having 10K profit days. This model is helping me sign XYZ clients per week. Are you interested in the details? That's it.
Right. But the scraping, what tool? I use Apify, for example. And then how do you enrich these emails? Are they often
for sure.
like B2B emails or B2C? Tell me a bit more juice.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're actually B2C. Like, believe it or not, I've had no deliverability issues sending to Gmail emails. So I'm using, what's it called? Tweet Scraper.
Tweet Scraper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tweet Scraper is good. You can just, siphon the audience from there and then just send them good cold emails. That's it. Because everyone's DMing them, right?
Yeah. So it's Tweet Hunter, right? You said?
Tweet Scraper.
Tweet Scraper. It does provide their email straight up.
Yeah. Their Gmail. So whatever email they signed up to X with, So for example, right, if I want to get, you or let's say like Alex Hormozy, just for everyone knows Alex, right? So I would go to Alex's profile, go to his followers, scrape the followers. Whoever signed up with an email to X, I'll get their email.
Interesting. And then from there, what does your cold email looks like precisely?
I always lead with proof, or I try to find some relevance. Hey, I noticed you followed XYZ. Something. Here's the case study, and then CTA is usually send more information or more details. I don't push for a call. I don't like selling on calls. I've done hundreds of millions of sales calls, but I could just send them details on a Google Doc or something. It's easier for me.
Yeah, I also do that. So the CTAs, can I send you more info? You send them the Google Docs, and then what happens after that? Do you follow up until they actually book a call?
Yeah, I try to get to the no as quickly as possible. I'm not even looking for a yes. I'm just looking for a no because then I don't need to spend as much time.
Yeah, I'm the same. And your follow-ups, what do they look like precisely? Is it different angles? Is it case studies?
I use memes. So I like to use memes. I like to use. So for a funny story, actually, I was doing go-to-market strategy stuff for a big growth consultancy in the blockchain space, and I got them Ubisoft as a client. And the way that Ubisoft and I got on a call, they got on a call with Ubisoft was through sending a Pepe meme. You know Pepe, the frog?
Yep. Yeah, of course.
And Ubisoft is a French company, so it could have gone either way. So it worked. But yeah, I like to use stuff that like pattern interrupts, stuff that really not everyone else is sending.
Yeah. On the meme strategy, I love humor. I think my audience, because they're slightly, I think, bigger companies, more B2B-ish, they would not react the same to a meme. Also, what do you say about deliverability issues when it comes to sending images and GIFs?
I think if it's just a last ditch, I think sending a meme is kind of like a last ditch effort. So if they haven't responded, I don't send more than 2 or 3 follow-ups. I'm not going to follow up forever. Maybe I'll find their number and text them or try and call them, cold call or something. But I think at the end of the day, it's if someone hasn't got back to you after 4 or 5 times. That said, I've sent 11 follow-ups and book calls. So it really depends. You can test both and both work. Just you need to be a bit strategic with it.
Yeah, I love the last resort also aspect of it. It's I tried everything and might as well try that and get to a no quicker. Humor, I love the science of humor. It generates serotonin, dopamine in their brain. You need to get their humor, which is hard, right? Because every human will laugh to a different thing. Guy like you and I would probably laugh at the same things, but a 55-year-old that's about to retire, maybe something else, right?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
How do you decide what is the right joke for the right person?
Well, if you're in that market, you probably already have clients in that market. This isn't, I'm not talking for on a beginner's perspective here. I'm talking about someone established who's already got clients and results. So I would just if I'm looking for clients in a similar market, or I'm doing this on behalf of a client, I would just simply ask my clients, what YouTube videos do you watch? What things make you laugh? What do you guys talk about? I'll try to use as much verbiage as I can, and act as if that specific email is coming directly from that person's mouth.
Interesting. And then when they get on an actual call, what does your sales calls look like? I've done thousands of calls by
Uh,
this point, and I don't try to sell people. I'm just like, matter of fact, this is what I do. This is what you do. And I give them my honest feedbacks like, hey, we're fit, or yeah, this may be like 50-50, how do you go with that?
yeah,
I share
again,
my
it's
also,
yeah,
and I try to be like as upfront and as valuable as possible.
yeah. I mean, it's like the doc model is probably like I call them strategy maps, right? So basically, I've closed hundreds of thousands of dollars on this as well, and my clients have too. One of my clients recently closed Exxon Mobil, which is like $300 billion client. It's actually disgusting. So these guys, like, what they do is they have the first call, which is triage, like typical, ask questions, go through what they're going through, like whatever, get all the insights, and just don't suggest anything at this stage. It's just simply after that call, you're like, well, okay, cool. You've answered the right questions. I have enough here to put something together and put a model in front of you that would make sense to solve all these problems that you told me. How does the next call, like Wednesday, sound? Okay, cool, no problem. So what I'm actually going to do, John, is I'm going to position the next call as an onboarding call. That way we can save a lot of our time back and forth. And if anything changes in that meantime, I'm going to send you a document going over the strategy. And on that document is clear. If you want to not go to that onboarding call, you tell me yes or no after you've reviewed the document. Sound good? Yeah. So the main thing I wanted to get in that prospect's mind is the word onboarding. So naturally, I'm trying to bring them closer to me. I'm not trying to say sales call or closing call or decision-making call. I don't want them really to have to think. I want them to believe that we're already working together. So I come at it more as like a strategic, like consultant vibe, rather than like, oh, I'm just going to sell you stuff and a client and this and that. I want us to be already working together, brainstorming ideas in the same, at the same time.
What's your ticket size, and how do you make sure like most of your clients are successful? What's your like success rate?
Yeah, it depends. Like my clients making money is the bottom line. There could be other things that they care about, like secondary things. Most of them have tried cold in some capacity and it hasn't really worked for them. So I've turned more now to consulting and kind of coaching rather than just doing strictly done for you. I still have a handful of done for you clients now, but I actually prefer consulting. Clients or companies that are in the 50K to 100K a month mark, I've charged anywhere from 10K a month, 20K a month. I've charged 50K up front. I've charged 30K up front. I've charged 1K a month. I can do lots of different things, but the main thing I'm focusing on now, like now moving forward, is the consulting side of things.
But is there like a specific scope, like numbers of followers scraped, numbers of meetings booked? Like, is there
Yeah,
a
usually
specific metric?
basics is like, I mean, there's loads of people doing what I do, right? There's loads of people doing what you do, and loads of people doing what our clients' companies are already doing. Samsung makes phones, Apple makes phones. Like we all know, like one is better than the other, right? Or it's depending on who you're speaking to. But the main thing is focused is like, I now stay away so much more from the meeting side of things, because what I've noticed is that a lot of big companies, even recent company, recent company I spoke to doing like, 20 million a year, 15 to 20 million a year consultancy, their sales process is like, I don't know how they've been doing it for so long, because they've been relying on networking and referrals. So when they're exposed to cold traffic, I have to make the cold offer. I have to make the offer suitable for cold traffic that don't know, like, or trust them, right? I'm not going to warm people who know you, dude. I'm going to people that don't know you. So the offer has to be different. And maybe you have to offer them a foot in the door offer. And the misconception is that most, B2B clients or clients I've had, they think they're going to close cold traffic like that. But if you haven't been exposed to the cold, you're gonna get you're gonna get sick, So you have to layer it into them that, hey, this is going to be harder. You're probably going to close at 20%, 30%, rather than closing referrals at 80 to 100%, maybe in some occasions, right? In some cases. So I want to focus on the current sales process, and I want them to be closing at least 20% of calls they get. So if they get 10 calls a week, they need to be closing at least 2. And if they're not, then I may bake in like a section of the model together where we work on the sales process and build it out. It may not necessarily maybe they need to hire a team. Like there can be so many moving parts, but the deliverable at the end of the day is like, I don't think people even want meetings these days. Like, it's kind of hard to see where the market's going because it changes so many times and so many people are kind of like doing what I'm doing. And most people would say, just send more emails, just send more emails. Great. Yeah. But if your client can't close them, you're wasting your time. So there's other stuff that they can be sold. You know, maybe it's like they need to have their CRM reactivated with all the old leads they haven't got back to, a reactivation campaign. It's a really good place to start because these people already had a call. They already know the offer. Maybe something didn't happen, like they didn't close for some reason. And maybe a one-time offer sent to those guys could be a step in the right direction to getting pipeline or getting revenue or, you know, cash flow quick for a new client. So I probably would start there with like a new client and then see how they deal with the sales process. I always get them to record their sales calls as well, so I can review them. And yeah, you can get very, very involved. And especially I like to operate solo or with a team member, but I don't really like sharing my margins. So the more like consultancy, helping businesses out on that front I can do, the better. I'm not too fussed on doing like traditional like done for you work these days.
Right. And what do you do when nothing else works? And what percentage of your client is that, you know, because yeah, they paid you, you delivered something, you delivered value, but in the end they're not closing, right? So what do you do by then?
I would probably ask them in the beginning of the call. Like I wouldn't get, I don't like, maybe in the beginning when I first started out a couple of years ago, but now I'm just like, you need to effectively show me your sales process. I need to see inside. It's like proof of funds, you know. I need to know you guys can close because there's no point me turning this on if you can't close because the deals are going to come, calls are going to come. So,
right. And what tool do you use to cold email? Is it instantly? What's your deliverability?
I use Smart Lead. I'm a qualified, certified Smart Lead expert or whatever you want to call it. I've done over like $250,000 in rev on there, which is actually a fairly small amount, but I've got the award thingy somewhere. Yeah.
Interesting. And yeah, last but not least, I want to ask you because you're quite public with your numbers. Like, what kind of scale have you reached with the agency right now?
So we were sitting around the 50K a month mark. We're actually still fairly small. And then I actually got further with my consulting and stuff like that. So I preferred to work on that basis.
Very cool. Tell me a bit more about your video game relationship because yeah, I'm a gamer as well, right? And
I've been playing. I'm playing Classic Anniversary right now on Spine Horde. So
interesting. Yeah, my brother is still farming mounts on WoW, but I thought that it would just take too much of my time. One and two, I have sort of an addict's personality, so I thought this would go from 30 minutes to 40 minutes a day to 50 minutes a day, and I didn't like what it did to my brain. So what would you do with that?
Well, it's an interesting one. Like I don't like to touch much grass anyway, so I like to like my whole like. I don't know. I've always been a gamer. I've always just played video games, and I like to have the most optimal setup as well. But I like to do two things with one stone. Like I may be on a consulting call with a client, but I let them know that I'm actually playing WoW at the same time. They actually kind of find it funny. Or I record YouTube videos and yap about business while I'm playing. Or I try and do something productive while I'm doing it. Like I have a treadmill and a standing desk, so I'll get my steps in while I'm gaming. But I try not to let it take too much of my life. I probably play more heavily on the weekends, but during the week, it's like, unless I've done like the most three important or four most important tasks in the day, like at least I've worked out first, done all my client work, done what I needed to do to, you know, keep things optimal. Then I can play, you know?
Right. I've got a trick for you. So in my office, I have a TV screen and I just put WoW gameplay on there so that my brain thinks that while I work, I'm playing WoW. What do you think about that one?
I like that, but I'm not playing. You know, I'm watching someone else's character. So it's like, you know, why there's a certain special chair in the hotel room, right?
Why?
So people can watch while you do things.
Oh,
so
shit.
it's kind of like the same model, no? But anyway, I like to watch Bob Ross. You know, the painter with the afro while I play or when I'm just working. It's kind of
I love that guy. I'm gonna watch the documentary again. Thanks for being on, Kai. Where can people find out more about you?
You can subscribe to my newsletter. It's kaicabero.co.uk. You can find me on Twitter. Do people call it Twitter still? X Twitter? I don't know. It's Kai_Cabero.
All right. Yep. So that was Kai and Charles for another fun